There was a mass shooting, for those of you in other countries, you might not even know this. There was a mass shooting at the celebration parade for the Kansas City Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl. So they won, and so they're having this parade where it's just people celebrating that they won the Super Bowl. The articles I've read, and these are, could be updated by the moment, it's been 20-some people have been shot. But one person dead and a couple in critical condition. But the articles I've read so far don't seem to know for certain who did it or why or those type of things. There's some articles saying there was a dispute involved, but whatever.
I'd call that a big dispute.
It doesn't, a major dispute.
Did a dispute? A dispute is like when you call the corporate call center because you were like charged them. A dispute to me is not like the precursor to a mass shooting.
The dispute was one person said, no, I don't think you can shoot 20 people. The other guy said, I bet I can. No, this is obviously horrific. You will see coverage, and you've probably already seen coverage all over mainstream media, all over some independent outlets. It is horrible. It's so terrible. But there are so many deeper aspects of mass shootings, some of which we've mentioned before on this show, some of which we hadn't. But this is what we're about to get into is what the coverage should look like if our mainstream media was actually doing their job. Shall we start with the fact that 99% of all of these mass shooters are male? Like, should that not matter? Because people like to talk about, like if it were an Arab person, and I think there's been like one or something in our list of mass shooters, they love to go, oh my God, it's an Arab. That matters, right? It matters that it's them. Well, shouldn't it matter that 99% are male?
Oh, well, wasn't there one where I can't remember if I believe it was a trans woman.
Right. There was one.
And so then everybody was trying to say, this is what happens. This is why trans healthcare and like trans people shouldn't exist. And I'm like, do we want to talk about like the cis men because in my mind, then cis men shouldn't exist. If that's your argument.
Right. If you really want to
like, what?
If you really want to go after who's perpetrating these shootings, it is men. So that's one on the list, but we're going to get into some other details about that, societal details about why this is happening, men, in a few minutes. But this is in my opinions, one of the most important things about these mass shootings is that at least, and it's actually probably higher than this, at least 31%, almost a third of mass shooters were trained by the U.S. military. These are mass shooters, obviously, in the United States. These are not people on military missions. And they were either in the military, they're a veteran, they were in ROTC. Over this 31% that he was able to find just from newspaper articles. So he doesn't have like deeper information, which would probably reveal that it's over 31%.
Well, and when you consider like how that permeates into where you would otherwise learn to shoot, like a shooting range, like every single shooting range is rah military and Blue Lives Matter and shit like that. So that is, and a lot of people who either work there or go through there are either former military, former cops, things like that. There was one guy when I went to one that was like literally in his fatigues and like talking to people. And I was like, this is terrifying because he could just like have an episode right now, it seems, because he's like in his fatigues, just shooting wildly. But it's like, so when you think of it that way, then, I mean, the percentage just has got to be even higher.
Right. The culture of just how to use these weapons is pretty screwed up.